Like I went to one meeting which led to the retreat, and after coming out of that retreat, I'm just like, Lord, I can't stay the same. It's impossible for me to stay the same knowing the truth now.
It's recognizing that the human life has dignity and value, and at all stages, it has equal dignity and value. Now, some are more vulnerable and some are not able to protect themselves. And so those that are able to protect them need to step in, right?
Also, let me look into prison ministry. Also, how can we help all the people who are suffering with the immigration policies now, right? And in the right way. Going through things in the right way. And sometimes it does feel like I'm rocking the boat a little, but not in a bad way. Just like, oh, we haven't spoken about that. We haven't discussed that. We should. Like, you made sure I was seen, that I was noticed. The questions that I had, you would answer them. Like, maybe not in front of the entire class, but like you tell me, like, even if you didn't have the answer, which is what I do now, I'm just like, I'll get back to you on that. but you actually did. Even the way you spoke to me, right? A girl from the Bronx, you can't speak to me about, let's say, theology of the body with all the terminology now. I wouldn't have understood, but you definitely spoke to me in a way that I understood. And I'm just so grateful for that, because I was definitely the oldest in the room, and it's probably why I had the most questions.
This is what Catholic youth ministry looks like.
Exploring the 5 M's of ministry.
With Brother Morel, also known as a symbol.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to What Catholic Youth Ministry Looks Like, where we explore and talk about these things I call the 5 M's of ministry. And today, it's kind of dope because I get to sit across from someone that's currently working in ministry, but was first someone in my catechism class years back. And so say what's up to Alyssa.
Yes.
What's up, Alyssa?
Hi, I can't believe I'm here. This is actually crazy.
Yeah. So, Alyssa, tell people, for those that don't know, who are you? What are you doing now? How's that all going?
Yeah, so my name is Alyssa, and I am currently the Respect Life Coordinator for the Diocese of Paterson. So that covers many things, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on. But really, I'm just someone who's still learning so much about my faith, still learning and still just hungry to walk alongside others who are walking on this faith journey. So thank you. Thank you from 10 years ago all the way into now. Thank you for everything.
No, praise God. I mean, so even looking back, there are, I think, most youth ministers, pastors, whatever, there are people that stand out, right? Like, because you were always curious.
Yeah.
Like, since I met you, you were always
Yeah.
curious. So, like you were one of the ones asking more questions and searching deeply. And so, yeah, I mean, that's been dope as a whole. I mean, okay, for you guys at home, literally, anybody that knows kind of my journey and story, even my family's journey and story, my wife was not Catholic. When my wife was received in the church and Easter Vigil, all that stuff, Alyssa was right there. And we might have to like find that picture somewhere and like impose it in and post or something like that. Yeah.
So that experience is crazy because actually, I keep thinking back, and it was your confirmation class, but this was me doing RCIA, right? So even being there, I was the oldest one in the classroom. And what stuck out the most was that like I did not feel connected to everyone else in the classroom but you. Like, you made sure I was seen, that I was noticed. The questions that I had, you would answer them. Like, maybe not in front of the entire class, but like you tell me, like, even if you didn't have the answer, which is what I do now, I'm just like, I'll get back to you on that. But you actually did. And I remember that you always made an effort. And although I was the oldest in the class, you always made sure that I was seen. Even the way you spoke to me, right? A girl from the Bronx, you can't speak to me about, let's say, theology of the body with all the terminology now. I wouldn't have understood, but you definitely spoke to me in a way that I understood. And I'm just so grateful for that, because I was definitely the oldest in the room, and it's probably why I had the most questions.
But yeah, it could be. I mean, it's dope to see all of that, because even when I look at that, I look at the level of experience and everything I had. There's stuff I was still figuring out. Like, there's stuff I was still like I have this theory. I think this will work.
Yeah.
And I was putting it in practice in real time.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah.
Even one of the questions, I don't know why this question sticks out. I remember telling you, but I don't know if there's bad. Like, I believe in good. I believe in God, but is there is there bad? And I remember you being like, that's a good question. And just
Yeah.
like walking me through the answer for that. And you took your time. Even like I said, if you didn't know the answer, you definitely came back to me. It wasn't like, yeah, I'll get back to you. And that's it. Never heard from you again. No, you definitely followed up. And that's what made the biggest difference. So even if you were figuring it out, you did a great job. I didn't
I
know.
appreciate that. That's dope confirmation. Thank you, Holy Spirit, because you know what I'm saying? You was working. But yeah, okay, so let's look back in that, right? And again, I thank you for that, even like on camera and all that. But let's look back. You once were there. What even made you sign up in the beginning? Again, for that, I know some of the
Yeah,
background and
for
the
sure.
story,
Yeah.
even on the spiritual warfare. We can go all
Yeah.
that far, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So my great grandmother, I don't come from a practicing home. And when I say that, I mean everyone stated they were Catholic, but my great grandmother taught me the Our Father, and that was the extent. And grateful for that, right? Because I remember all the nights me falling asleep. She's like, "Did you pray?" I'm like, "All right, I'll pray the Our Father." So that was my experience. That was my only exposure, really, right? And looking back, obviously God is always there, but if you don't know someone, how do you know that they're present, right? So I remember she always told us, like, Alyssa, you need to get baptized. You need to do your sacraments. And didn't think much of it until she was getting a little sick. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should start just honoring her that she's always wanted me to do this. Let me do it. So that's kind of what started it. I didn't have like my parents say, you have to go every Sunday. This is something you have to do. It was kind of just like, she wants me to do this. Let me just do it. And that's all the Lord needed, right? And he ran with it, and I'm grateful he did because, yeah, just grateful that I'm here now. So
Gotcha. So as like your right, because that was a very, very early beginning,
yeah,
right? Even signing up at Santa Maria,
I know.
right? And even there wasn't an official RCIA at
Yeah.
that time, or even RCIT, because you would have been that,
Yeah.
right? There was just like, all right, we only have enough to do this, so and we don't know where to put her. Okay, put her with the other, right? But like, okay, so that's an initial. What were some other things that you think like your journey continued? There were some moments, other mentors, little light bulb moments in prayer, even. Yeah.
Easy, because this is how the Lord has been working, and it's so evident. So I remember having a conversation with someone a few years ago, and they're like, what was the happiest moment of your life? Like, that's a really big question, right? And this is before I was probably still a teenager at that point when they asked me that. And for not understanding fully, I'm just like, the day I got baptized, that was kind of crazy. Like, I don't think I really understood what was happening completely. But I just remember feeling like, wow, if I can go back to that feeling that I felt, life would be pretty good, right? So just remembering that, and of course now I know why. Obviously, like he received me with open arms, and just joining him in that sacrament, craziness. So that's probably one of the biggest moments. But there's been so many little not little mentors that I've had along the way. During college, I had a focus missionary. Her name is Megan. Oh, bless her heart. She was so good. And again, kind of reminded me of you, just young and just living life, struggling and still trying to do missionary work. And that's where the Lord really just pulled at the strings of my heart. Like, this is a woman now, like, right? He presented me with you, and I'm super grateful for that. But now being able to connect to a woman in college and seeing her also being a similar age, just struggling, but aspiring for holiness, I had no other words, but I kind of want that peace that she has. Like, there's so much uncertainty. She's telling me she has to like fundraise, like, this is how she's living. I'm like, yo, you're like struggling a low key, but you're so peaceful.
What was her name? Megan, you said?
Yeah, Megan, you probably
Shouts out
know
to
her.
Megan.
Yes, love Megan. Love her. Still in contact with her. So just grateful for that witness. And then I have a close friend named Lisette.
Right.
Right after college, she invites me to this event. She's like, Alyssa, I don't want to go by myself. Can you please come with me? I'm like, I got you. Don't worry. Where is it? In the Bronx. I'm in Jersey. I left the Bronx. You want me to go back to the Bronx? Fine. I'm heading back to the Bronx so I can go to this event with you. So I go to this event and I'm introducing myself to everyone. And everyone's saying, hi, Lisette. Hi, Lisette. And I'm like, how do they know your name? I thought you'd never been here. So it was just like a beautiful way. I think she knew if she told me, like, I think it's very important for you to come to a Corazón Puro meeting. I probably would have even taken offense to it. Like, what do you mean what do you mean you really think I should go to this event, right? But she knows my heart and she's like, you're doing me a favor. Can you come with me? And no, don't lie. That's not how you get people to go to events. But I think she saw my heart and she knew like this would be good. This would be good for us to go together.
Well, it was
not
birthed from your
necessarily-
relationship,
For
right?
sure,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. And now that I think about it, I think I assumed that she meant I've never been to one of those events. In my head, just hearing her say, oh, I don't want to go alone. I just assumed like, oh, you've never been. I'll go with you.
Mm.
So I don't think she lied, by the way.
Okay. Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But definitely, and again, the Lord like ran with that. And what I mean by that, I went to one meeting and I've never looked back. Like I went to one meeting which led to the retreat. And after coming out of that retreat, I'm just like, Lord, I can't stay the same. It's impossible for me to stay the same knowing the truth now. So like in all other aspects of like my encounters with Christ and just witnesses, it was like little pieces. Like, here you go. Because he knows. If you would have told me that from the very beginning, I would have been like, no, I'm scared. No thanks. So he knows how to prepare our hearts. And Corazón Puro, which is a young adult ministry, really has changed my life. I'm still with them. And more so than not, you might think you're the one ministering to other people. And that's the Lord still working in your heart.
Yeah, explain for those that may not know that ministry.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, just
Yeah,
give some context
for
right
sure.
there. Yeah.
Corazón Puro is a young adult ministry, and it focuses on JP2's teachings on theology of the body, love and responsibility, which is pretty heavy. Like it's pretty complicated to break down, especially if you come from a background that's like not anything related to it. But they do it in a way that it's bite-sizable. That it doesn't like, okay, this is too much, I'm running away, right? So even grateful, like I hold JP2 so close to my heart, but even acknowledging that he didn't come up with TLB. TLB has been in the church since forever, but grateful that he spoke to us in a way that we would understand, something in theology of the body, of modesty, right? Instantly you think, oh, how the person dresses. But it goes so deeper than that. It's how you act, how you speak, how you carry yourself. Like it's so much more than that. And one of the fruits is just he spent time with his young adults. Like he spent time with young adults. And that's how he was able to translate TOB, which has been around since forever, into a way that we would understand.
Right. So TOB, theology of the body, and even him spending time with them. So it's funny. I talk about that. Say, shameless plug. Y'all already know this. If you've seen any of these, I'm working on the 5 M's of ministry, like kind of this thing, right? Like writing this out. But the way he understood taking them on hikes and doing like it's a good example of what it looks like to cultivate relationships and real ministry work in that sense, where it's not just head knowledge. Really is just like interpersonal connection. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I want to come back to Corazón Puro in a second, but let's go to your current role, right? The Respect Life coordinator, right? Okay, so in super Catholic circles, they're gonna know that, right? But in non, what is that? What does your work look like on a practical level? What does that even mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and even for the Catholics that are practicing, many times I still have been encountered with that. Okay, what does it really mean? Like we get it, but like what does that really mean? And I understand, because until I was in the position, I don't think I even understood the full scope of Respect Life. So Respect Life is addressing concerns in life and advocating for life from natural birth to natural death. So if you think about this, natural birth, so babies in the womb, which is something that is highlighted extremely because it's important, and especially in the time that we live, life in the womb is not like protected, right? But it's also so much more than that. And not even but, and it's so much more than that. It's youth, it's young adults, it's adults, elderlies, imprisoned, homeless, people with disabilities. this isn't just one category. This is respecting all aspects of life, and it's easier said than done,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
It's easier said than done
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, no. I mean, I love that because that gives a more clear thing. Is recognizing that the human life has dignity and value, and at all stages it has equal dignity and value. Now, some are more vulnerable, and some are not able to protect themselves. And so those that are able to protect them need to step in, right?
Correct.
So that's why I think sometimes there's almost like a bad PR, right? of like, this is only about the babies in the womb. It's only about the abortion issue. This is
Exactly.
only about that, which super ridiculously important.
For sure.
But it's all things. And I mean, it's interesting because respect life also, and this is where I always get in trouble because I'm the person that challenges people. Like, okay, if you say you respect life, right, or you're pro-life in that, but you actually have not taken time for fathers to be with their families, you actually in your policies and things have disrupted family rhythms. You know what I'm saying? Are you really respect life? If you say you're pro-life, but then you make faces at the homeless dude, like, are you really pro-life? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's
Yeah.
addressing all that. So
Yeah.
you kind of are human life as a whole.
Yes,
Yeah.
and even in this position, I'm like, oh, we're focusing on this. I love that. Also, let me look into prison ministry. Also, how can we help all the people who are suffering with immigration policies now, right? And in the right way,
In the right way, yeah.
going through things in the right way. And sometimes it does feel like I'm rocking the boat a little, but not in a bad way. Just like, oh, we haven't spoken about that. We haven't discussed that. We should. And the first thing that I do, and I think all of us who are in ministry know this, we have to come up with an action plan. Because stating like, oh, I've been thinking about prison ministry. Okay.
How? Who am I going to contact? What do you
Like,
look it up? Yep.
okay, and especially if
Right.
you go to a priest, to your directors, they're just gonna say, okay, and so like, and not in a bad way, but like, what's your plan, right? So educating myself has been the biggest thing, and that means my head's always in a book. I'm always on my computer. I'm talking to people, and that's one of the biggest things with Respect Life is that people kind of tiptoe. They're just like, this is a sensitive topic. I don't know enough. That's fine. And I think right back to how it all began with you. Like, even if you didn't know, you went, you found out, and then you came back with an answer. And
Well,
that's one of the biggest things.
it was my thought again, and I don't think I intentionally would have said it was a respect life thing, right? As much as it's just like, no, I care about each and every one of these individuals in this room that have, and I'm gonna use this word, have been entrusted to me to lead, right? And I may not always get this right, but I'm gonna do my best to serve in that. So, and I think to give context for the majority of who watches this, right, would be people who are ministry leaders. And I talk about these things, the 5 M's of ministry, the message, the music, the meeting space, the members, and the mission territory. If we're talking about the life and human people, we're talking about the members. Who are the adults that are serving? Who are the youth that we're serving? Who is the pastor?
Yeah.
Who is the DRE, etc. So that said, sorry, what do you think parish leaders can learn, or what can they adapt in some of these? I mean, in some way, we've kind of named some of it,
Yeah.
even just what you said about your focus person, like, all right. But what are some other things you think can help them? I want to pause for a brief moment to let you know that this series was brought to you and it was produced by Kari Films. Kari Films is a Catholic media production company whose mission is to capture the beauty of the Catholic faith. They do this through capturing live events. They do this through podcasts, testimonials, music videos, and more. You can find out more about them in the description below. Now let's get back to it.
I've been in this role for 6 months. And again, I lead with total honesty no matter what, no matter who I'm talking to, I'm going to be honest with you. So do I have all the answers? No. But one thing that I do realize is that where does ministry start? In our homes. And with that, I'm going to start with, I'm the oldest of 6, right? And my youngest sister, she is 6 years old, right? So she is super young. And right after her is a 14-year-old. And I feel like I have to talk about this if I'm talking about the youth ministry, because That's youth. Like, it's right there in my home. I'm sick the other day, and my sister, like, tissues in my nose, going back and forth between Gatorade, tea, water, right? Didn't go to work
Vicks
that day.
Vaporub.
Pretty much
You know what I'm
Vicks
saying?
everywhere. It's 9:30 at night. My 14-year-old sister comes up to me and she's like, Alyssa, I need to see Jesus. I don't come from a practicing home, right? I'm just like, okay, I'm fully in my PJs. Go get ready. At this point, who am I to tell you no? Go get ready. There's a perpetual adoration. I go often. It's cool. Go get ready. My 6-year-old sister comes walking along. She's like, I want to see Jesus. Lord, what? This is crazy. But of course, I know that's her way of just coming out with us. I'm like, go lay down before you get in trouble. So I take my sister, and like I said, I've been to this perpetual adoration for years already. The door is locked. I've never experienced that. That door has never been locked. Like, there's a code, of course. There's a sign that says, like, something they're closed for the day, something. I look at my sister, and she looks so devastated. I feel horrible. I'm like, okay, Lord, what do I do now? Remember, I'm sick. I'm like, let's stay out here on the bench and let's just pray. That's all I can offer you. I'm like, do you want to pray together on your own? She's like, oh, just by myself. And you can tell she's sad. I'm there sitting praying a rosary, and I look over at her. I'm like, okay, she's still chilling. She's praying. 10 minutes later, she's like, Alyssa, I feel better. We can go home now. I'm like, Lord, I didn't say one word to her. For me to think that you are confined to a tabernacle, for me to think that you're confined to the four walls of a church, Lord, thank you, right? And that's youth ministry right there. That's youth ministry. It's being a witness that, Lord, thank you for allowing me all those nights that my family were watching movies, and I'm like, guys, I have to go spend some time with Jesus. 10 p.m., I have to go spend some time with Jesus, right? That's being a witness of life. And I'm just like, Lord, thank you. So I must be honest, I don't have much experience in youth ministry in this role.
Yeah, no.
But this is Respect Life. This is life, right? And it is something that I'm working on. And building those connections, even that, working within the church, you got to build connections. You can't just be like, oh, also, I want you to run this program. Like, I can't do that.
Right. Okay. Yes. Let's pause and give language to this, right? I think this is good. So, number one, it's being willing and open to the other person no matter what's going on at that moment, right? And just because I know Catholics, we are not saying that Jesus is there uniquely in a special
For
way
sure.
in the Eucharist,
Thank you.
right? But this is what was coming to mind before you said any of that is Mother Teresa, when he's like seeing, so she saw Jesus in you.
That's crazy.
So that first in your witness, but then also in how you reacted to that moment and all of that, right? And I think this is if we're building a culture of life as a whole, and we want to introduce people to all these things, the sacraments, saints, extra, right? How they're gonna believe that Jesus is there in the tabernacle when you don't look like peace, when you don't transmit love, when you aren't willing to like actually serve them from your heart. And so, yeah, I mean, you can see that modeled in that moment. And then what you said in cultivating relationships with these leaders,
For sure.
it's not just I send you some in the mail, I shoot you an email.
No.
It's like, hey, let's go
No.
let me respect you as a person.
Literally that.
Yeah.
So even working on that, that's where I'm at in youth ministry right now. I'm trying to build this connection with directors, with those, leading the groups. And it's something as small as, hey, you have a retreat coming up? Count me in. Oh, like, what would you like to do? No, wherever you need me, just count me in. And this is not like my way of working myself in, but we know we need it. Like, I need help, right? And if someone can just offer me help without like wanting something back right away, like, oh wow, thank you, I respect that.
Or sometimes this is what they get, and I'm sorry again, man. Look, if you only call in trying to get a table in the back,
No, literally.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so let me give out pamphlets in the back. That's okay, yes, right. But I think your approach, that's what's needed. If we see that trickle down across the board,
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I must say, I need to give a shout out to Bishop Kevin Sweeney, because he's the one that kind of told me this. He's like, listen, like, you're new. You can't just necessarily say, oh, this is these are all the events I want to do for Respect Life. But how about you come to the meeting that I'm having with the youth ministers? I'm like, I'm not a youth minister. Are you sure? And just going back and forth, like, I don't know if I fit in this room. And just hearing the conversations, that was so good for me because I'm like, oh, this is what you guys are struggling with. Interesting. Like, oh, I kind of struggle with the same thing. Interesting. So even just sitting in at that meeting, I'm like, well, thank you, Bishop, for telling me to come here because it's needed. And then there I'm able to say, hey, I'm Alyssa, the Respect Life coordinator. I've been in this position fairly new. If you need me, I'm right here.
Mm.
So grateful for him that he just allowed me to introduce myself to others outside of an email because I already did it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
already did
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's dope. I think along the same lines, let's rewind back because I think there's no coincidences. I think the Corazón Puro kind of maybe were like they kind of a 1-2 punch type thing, you know. So, um, how do you think youth ministers and leaders can start that process, talking about the theology of body and
Yeah.
all that stuff? How does that help,
Huh.
or how could they go about that a little bit?
So I'm big on testimony, so I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, go for it.
Father Agostino, wow.
Shouts out to the homie.
Bless his heart.
Mm.
I went to him for that first meeting that I went to Corazón Puro, and he looked at me with intention.
Mm.
And I've never even told him this before, but I think he knew I need to like hold on to her before she goes astray.
Mm.
Like he saw that in my heart. Like I see the good. You should stay close to us. And he ran with that. So same thing with youth ministers, like being able to see like interesting. To read in between the lines, right? Because I could be stating one thing, but my heart is somewhere else. Or what I'm really trying to say, I'm too scared to say it. And I think he saw that, like yearning for love, for community. He's like, all right, stay here, stay close to me, and we'll keep educating you on this. So teaching TOB is really hard because even now, he made it bite-sizable, JB2, and it's still a little intricate. You can still read that book and it's like, wait, let me read it again. I'm not sure what I'm reading. But again, just making it in a way that they understand. So telling a young girl, hey, don't wear crop tops at church, that's not really going to rock. You're just telling her not to do that.
Sometimes,
Like, that's not going to work like that.
sometimes it can unintentionally isolate her too, right? Like,
For sure.
if not handled. Now, if you have already built a connection
Yeah.
and there's a level of trust, and you be like, hey, I realize you do this.
Mhm.
I think it might be better for you.
Mhm.
They're willing to receive that
For
better
sure.
because they feel respected
Mhm.
as a human person first. Yeah.
And I've had it done to me back in the day, right? And I even seen Holly, another one. She's at CP. Love her gentleness. That's what you want. You want to be as gentle as her. And I just think of her imitating Mother Mary so much that she would come up to a girl, just be like, hey, maybe put on this cardigan. And in such a gentle way that you can tell, instead of like the girl feeling like, oh my gosh, I did something wrong or they're judging me, she's like, okay, I've seen it. And I'm just like, I don't think if I told her put on this cardigan, she would have taken it as well.
Ah,
So
that's
just
cool.
seeing like all these examples at Corazón Puro really is what made understanding theology of the body more understandable. Like, oh, you guys are living it. You're not just saying it. You're not just talking about this. You guys are actually being imitators of Christ and Mother Mary.
Mm. Yeah, no, I mean, the theology of the body, you kind of spoke to it a little bit earlier, but how you carry yourself as a whole. I mean, I'm big on, like, I tell people this all the time. I mean, especially for like young men, right? Like, there is a part of respecting your temple that is how you eat, how you train, right? How you get dressed, like all of that. Because I, I think there's also like everybody has this moment. Okay, for ladies, and just do it like this. That day that you go to the salon and you get your hair done and you put on that new outfit, there is something it does to you, even psychologically, right? That helps you to show up better. Guys, you get the fresh cut, you got brand new kicks. It helps you show up. And if we're intentional about that in ways, or even like, again, like what I said, like, I understand like some people genuinely have health and weight issues, right?
For sure.
But doing the best you can in that, it helps you show up. in a different way. Now, like, I mean, I tell people this all the time. My prayer life is better when I work out. When I don't, sometimes I'm like distracted. I'm like off, you know? So yeah, it's theology of the body is all of those things and more, right?
And more.
Yeah.
And even thinking about how do you summarize TLB in like a few words? I don't know, but I'm going to try and I'm going to fail, so do not quote me. It's learning who we are and whose we are. That's it. Who we are and whose we are. And it can even go as back as we say begotten, not made. Talking about Jesus. Begotten, not made. So Jesus is made of the same substance and nature as God. And then Genesis says, God created man and woman. So we are created. We're not of that same nature and substance. So he created us. Okay. And going back to respect life, humans, not me, I don't have any children. Humans, right? They don't make children. If anything, they make love. Children are not a product, right? And if he made us in his image and likeness, we are begotten of that human. So of the same substance and nature of the human that was able to conceive us. So even that connection, that's TOB, understanding if we are begotten, not made from our parents, we have the same dignity. Our life is valued just as much as theirs. And not because we're in the womb or outside of the womb does that matter. Not because we're useful to society or not. Like it doesn't matter. So that's what TOB teaches us is who we are and who we are and whose we are.
Right. Is recognizing, like, and let's give because what you said is like recognizing my own dignity. And then you can look at the other person and recognize their dignity. Sometimes and this is our human nature, this is our flaws, right? But sometimes it gets exaggerated. Particularly when you have some level of authority, right? It's actually more required of you to recognize the dignity of the other person and how you treat them.
For sure.
How many times have we seen someone of authority then kind of lord themselves over the other person, right? And these can be small or big ways. These can be the things we see with broken families and homes. This could be things we've seen in school systems, right? This could even be, I'll give a real clear one, right? I saw this, and I'm sorry. This is a DRE, right? Again, let's go back to your example of like the dressing thing. This is a little different, but the same. I literally saw a DRE yell at a kid for being on their phone in mass. And then while mass was going on, go on their laptop and order something on Amazon for the program and justified it. But that kid's life is equally valued. Now, was he distracted? Yeah. Like, could he have been told about himself? Absolutely. Does correction help? Yes. And you don't get a pass. It's just, we have to look at things on both levels in that way. And that, I think, also communicates theology of the body without directly saying it.
Exactly.
Hey, I know some of y'all waiting. You're like, hey, you've been talking about this 5 M's of ministry thing. When is that book coming? Well, in the meanwhile, while we're still working on that, you can head over to Amazon. You can get this 30-day devotional based on my song, Last Words, Lift My Hands. It's 30 days of complete surrender. This is good for young adults. This is good for your leaders. This is good for people that you want to call into a deeper life of prayer and surrender with God. And at the same time, you can go, and as you want to teach about the Holy Spirit, I made this little character named Fuego Dove, and this is the first of a series of comics that I'll be releasing about how he shows up in everyday life. So, yeah, y'all can go get that. That helps support the ministry, and hopefully it supports and helps you in your day-to-day ministry life. Now let's get back to the conversation. Yeah.
So I learned this quote pretty late on, meaning recently, and it was, if you change your family, God will love them. If you love your family, God will change them. So even in that example that you're stating, like we're called to love, and correction is okay, of course, but we're not called to change people. We are not Christ. We're not God, right? Like all we can do is plant these seeds and try to guide and navigate, right? But that's it. Like if I see someone who is in need of help, I am called to help, right? And something that's so misused is that Catholics are good people. Like, oh, religion in general.
Mm.
Like in religion, it's just being a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And that I don't like because I used to say that myself.
Ah.
And that's why it's like it touches home, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like being religious, being Catholic is so much more than that, right? We don't want what's in this world. I don't care for it, right? And like, correction, I am still human. So sometimes I do care. But big picture stuff, I don't care for the stuff that this world has to offer. We're aiming for heaven. Like, we desire forever on this earth because we're meant for eternity.
Mm.
And it's like, if we wrap our heads around it and understand, like, oh, this desire that I have might be a bad desire, but it's coming from a good place, and being able to, like, okay, I can't act in this way, but understanding, oh, okay, I am acting this way because I want to be loved,
Mm.
because I want to be seen,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even I had the New Jersey March for Life recently, and they're like, oh, can you help out give the worship aids, say hi to everyone? I'm like, okay, for sure. And slight experience with the youth was there, just saying hi to them. How often did I see these high schoolers looking down? Hi, good morning. Nothing, looked down, or good morning, looking straight down. And it was like interesting. And a few times I would say like, hi, good morning, what's your name? And once I said that, they'll like double look like, do you mean it or do you not mean it? Like, do you really want to know my name or you're just saying that to every single person? And I saw that, and you can see that they just wanted to be seen, to be loved. And the double look almost made me want to cry. I'm just like, dang, like,
Mm-hmm.
are we talking to our teens? Are we talking to our youth?
Are we talking to our family members?
Literally.
Are we talking? Some places are you
Yeah.
talking to your spouse? Are you
No,
talking to your kids?
literally.
Right? Like, yeah.
So, like I said, I don't feel like I've had much of an opportunity yet. Emphasis on yet, working with youth. But the Lord, He's been doing things and placing them in my life, in my home, obviously first, and then elsewhere, just throughout work. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I see that you're teaching me what's a need, and I'm going to try. I'm going to try. That's all we could do.
Yeah. No, I hear that. That's all good. And I'm gonna add this one small thing, like, and this is just for the someone, because sometimes people hear things and it's not what's said, but they unintentionally translate it differently, right? So when we say we're made for heaven, that's not like an afterthought. That's not like, oh, I work so one day I can get to heaven. In fact, the entire message of Scripture is to bring heaven to earth. So we're made for heaven here and now, even, right? And we experience that, we know, in prayer and the sacraments, but even in our interactions with other people. Like, the way I like to say it to people is like, when people meet you, do you look like heaven? Do you smell like heaven? Does like your conversation or like, and if there's any time that I've fallen short of that, those are the moments that I need to go to confession. It's not just the mortal sin thing, right? Like, I need to repent of every time I didn't look like heaven.
That's a good one.
So what if there hasn't been, because we've named some of this already, what are some other pitfalls or challenges in how ministries talk about life issues?
For sure, I think it can be a disservice to only focus on babies in the womb. And it's a disservice because we're ignoring all aspects of life. That's the very beginning, and it's important so we can get to the other aspects of life, right? But what now? So just educating on someone is homeless not always because they want to be homeless. And more often than not, it wasn't just one bad decision, right? It could be many decisions that they didn't even make.
Mm-hmm.
So are we teaching people this?
Let alone any other psychological traumas or things
For
they're working
sure.
with. Yeah.
For sure. And another disservice could just be not talking about it. Like I said, I think all of Respect Life is a sensitive topic. And I think we just shy away from it. And more often than not, I think there's a misconception that the youth are all liberal. I think that's a common misconception because I see it in my own family. I give them a little and they're just like, but what do you mean? Oh, like, that's your opinion, or is that like a fact? No, it's in the Bible. It's a fact. Right? So if you even just educate, just tell them one little thing, I think they're more prone to be curious. But if we don't give them the space to be curious, then that's it. We just assume like, oh no, they're just super liberal and that's it.
It's okay to challenge people. Like we said,
sure.
again, it's okay. Like even when we said the correction thing, right? And young people, like, but I think what you're saying, if I can, again, I'm trying to like, because I'm hearing it and I'm like, for what may be more helpful than saying we're doing a Respect Life Month only in January, and then we make the entire month about the abortion issue. Or even sometimes they try to cram in the other stuff in, but it winds up kind of, again, that becomes the focus, is maybe one night a month we do Respect Life issues all throughout, right? Or something along those lines where we're intentionally like naming it all the way through. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to like, yeah. So
No,
sometimes that
that's
causes a
good.
disservice when it's not talked to in its entirety, and not shying away from the harsh truth.
For sure.
Be it, again, like, these are the things that nowadays people want to cancel people. You can't talk about abortion too much. You can't talk, but immigration, but the prison reform, like
Yeah,
it's,
And you
yeah.
gotta tiptoe. That's how people feel like we need to react to it, but that's not true. And also, I think it's a disservice to only talk about like the negative. Like, how about the glory stories? How about the good that comes from respecting life? And so often it's like, we respect life because this is wrong. But no, we respect life because this is so good. So even stating, like, our wording is so important, especially for the children, because they take note. I've noticed with my sisters, if I say yes, but already there's a shift. You can tell in their body language, the way they're processing. But if you say yes and, that alone, they're just like, oh, okay, like you acknowledge what I said and you're not stating it's wrong. You're agreeing that you heard me, not necessarily that I agree with them, that you heard me, and you're also giving me a little more details about this topic.
Yeah, I remember I used to work for a program where yes and was literally a rule.
Interesting.
So, and this was actually not a Catholic organization or a Christian organization. It was a practice they had, and it was arts based, and they were talking about like peace and community building and stuff. And so I remember, this may give some practical image, right? Testimony to that I learned this like in a real way. Is I was teaching we were doing like a theater program in this school in Harlem, and it was like one of my first days with them. And I had to line them up, take them upstairs. Again, this is elementary school kids. So, they were just wilding. They was kids climbing on tables, like they were yelling. And I just kind of yelled out, "Everybody freeze!" One kid decided that it would be funny because I said, "Freeze." They went, "Everybody clap your hands." Bap, bap, bap. Right, exactly. That's what clap. And he thought he was going to be funny and like get the laughs, whatever. And like somehow it clicked. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Said, yes, exactly. Every time I say freeze, y'all all say, "Everybody clap your hands." You clap your hands, dance, and get in line. And because I didn't shut him down, and all of them was like, "Oh, okay." And that whole year went smoothly because I redirected that energy, and particularly even that kid. I remember there was a lot that other teachers and people had issues with him, and like I was able to build this bridge with him from that first initial moment.
That's so good. Instantly you said freeze, and I thought the same thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought the same thing.
In the Bronx, I work with an organization named Young Life. But probably my main role right now is particularly working with our Catholic ministries, be that schools, churches, etc., to help them develop new groups, new clubs, new things to engage young people and walk alongside them and bring them to Jesus. If you would like to donate to that local mission, cool, you can go. There'll be a link in the description. If you want me to kind of connect with you and you are locally, we could do that. If you are somebody far and you still want to connect with me, we could do that. This 5 M's, I put this here on the internet for everybody, no matter where you are. You can adapt this for you. But particularly here, this is what I'm doing. And I just invite y'all to walk with me in this process. I pray that this framework helps you in launching new ministries and reevaluating and, just remodeling old ministries. Okay. I don't know if you had anything else to add to that, but what just because we'll start wrapping up somewhat, landing the ship. Um, what are some tips you have that could help them? I mean, we named some of them, right? But they would make it a recurring theme, and they would lean into this a little bit more. What are some things they maybe benchmarks they can hit or stuff like that?
Yeah, make it fun, make it real, and that changes with generations. What fun is changes a little bit. So make it age appropriate because a lot of times, like again, people steer away from Respect Life because they're like, I don't know how to make this relatable to the youth. So of course, make it age appropriate. But there's definitely benchmarks within the year, like even liturgically, right? Like we have the New Jersey March for Life, which is the closest to New York, right? We have the National March for Life. So even if you can't attend these, educating on these topics, make service. Kids love like service because this is hands-on. Now something you taught me, I can make it tangible. Oh, I'm making sandwiches for the homeless. Oh, okay. Oh, you want me to keep a bag of a water bottle and a snack bar in my bag? So if I do encounter someone, oh, okay. Right. And even seeing my sister, like, oh, do we have any more snack bars in the back when I'm driving and there's a homeless person on the street? Like, even those little things of service, then they kind of have a place to fall back to, even when they're not in that group, even when they're home, right? And I think that's what sticks out the most is giving them something tangible because you can say something and they can interpret it differently, but making something tangible for them, they're like, okay, this is real. Like, I have this sandwich in my hand right here, and I'm giving it to someone who's in need of love the same way I am.
Right, right, right. That's good. Yeah, I know. There was a particular retreat ministry. And I'm one of those like I can acknowledge the good and the bad with certain things. Right. This is one. There was other stuff. I'm like, man, y'all need to fix all this stuff. But there was one thing they did on this retreat that the end was they had prepared those kind of care packages, and it was part of their kind of mission sending. That is like, hey, this retreat is not over until you use this to serve somebody else. Yeah, like that was dope. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So exactly that.
Um, last, I mean, unless you have like other final words, if you could speak directly to ministry leaders listening, what would you encourage them about their own dignity of life?
Their own dignity of life. Okay. So I'm going to touch on two things, and it's any leader l- trying their best to lead. What I've heard so often and sticks with me is we just cast the net and that's it. If it's 150, 500, doesn't matter. All we're called is to cast the net and the Lord will do the rest. Because if it's the one person that shows up to our event, the Lord knows and he will use that. And that one person, that's life right there. Just because it's 500 people or one person, doesn't matter. That's life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, back to your question.
Yeah, well, if you can say, because I mean, I think that's good, and to say something to that, I remember even there was this thing, a bad habit I had in youth group, where it was like, let's wait till other people arrive. You're already communicating to the people that are there
Yeah.
that they're not important enough to start.
Oof, that's good.
So I remember I did that mental switch, and I was like, whoever's here, I'm focused and giving everything to them. And as other people arrive, we do the same thing to them. And I remember it's crazy. That was one of the ministries I was involved with that like exploded. Um, but the question really was like, I think sometimes what we transmit to others is first how we see ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. The more comfortable I have gotten in my own relationship with God, like I even go this far. I mean, there was a time there, because again, I was first serving, where I still felt like I had to do the dress up thing and not be me. Like there's time, I kind of call it my like awkward stage. Like there was like hood Brandon before Jesus. Then there was like awkward, I'm putting on like cheap slacks from the discount store just to fit a mold, you know? And then there's a part where like, no, I recognize how you see me, God, and I'm comfortable with me, so I can share me with other people. So like, what would help those ministers feel comfortable with themselves and their own dignity of life in God's eyes?
I think you kind of just tapped into it, and it's feeding yourself, like being fed by Christ, right? Like he's the only one that could truly satisfy us, right? And that alone, there's different ways people go about it. There's prayer, and even prayer. prayer looks so different for everyone. Prayer can be praise and worship, could be reading scripture, could be going to the gym, like you said. That's prayer right there if you're doing it with the right intention. So even before you even go to work, I am praying, like, Lord, this is for you, and continue to help me die to myself so that you can live. And only through that, I am able to go out and do a bit of the work that he wants me to do, right? And it's truly just feeding myself with him. And sometimes that means saying no, right?
It's a good one.
Sometimes that means when my family's watching a movie at night, I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, I have to go. I have to go be with Jesus right now. And of course, you're gonna get backlash. Of course, right? Like being Catholic is almost radical now.
Almost.
Right? Like it's
Almost.
radical, right? But truly being able to feed yourself in any aspect, in all the sacraments, confession, going to the Eucharist, like this is what we need. And there's graces in his sacrament. Like there's so many graces in his sacrament. So being able to just bask in it, even if you don't feel it, especially when we're tired, right? Especially when we're doing ministry work, right? So often we think work and ministry is separate, or we think our personal life and ministry is separate.
Yep.
And I don't think we really start living until we notice our whole life is ministry. Our entire life is ministry.
Facts. I've seen. Oh, okay. You
Right.
give me a side tangent stories, man. Okay, look. If you are a catechist on Sunday morning, but you was at the club Saturday night, you're hurting your catechism class, even if they never see that video. You know what I'm saying? Of you.
Exactly.
You know, like because you're not in the best spot, right? Like spiritually. If you have served so much at the church that you have now neglected your family at home.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I mean, and I'll be honest, like that's one of those things like I've had to learn the hard way. It's like, I'm not saying that I was ever someone that was never around, but there's times I look back and I'm like, I compromised and I won't do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
But definitely.
Yeah. Any final thoughts or things you just feel like they need to know?
More so, I'm sorry. I can't believe I'm here in front of you and we're doing this podcast. This is crazy. Just knowing like 10 years ago, you were my teacher, and in a way, you're still my teacher. Like how many times throughout all these years, I reached out to you and like, hey, I have a question about this. Oh, I just saw you at this event and it made me think of this. And just super grateful because that is respect life. Like throughout all these years, you have shown me that. Alyssa, you're worthy. Like even despite you being the oldest in this class and us trying to figure out like where exactly can we best place you where you can learn, you have always been respectful in that sense and made sure that I was seen. And so often, like you said, especially during that transitional period where you're just like, okay, Lord, this is wrong, this is right, I'm going to stop doing this and I want to start living like this, but I'm in the middle and I don't really know what to do right now. You still made me feel seen, and I think that's what we're all called to do, is to truly see the person. That's respect life.
Ah, man, I appreciate it. Those are bars. Yeah. Hey, I just pray you guys were edified in every kind of way from this and feel inspired to just go cultivate relationships. You never know. Like the young person that you greet at the door today, the one that is welcomed, even if they may not have it all together, where that all could go. And reason why I do this, want to see your ministry grow. So I pray this helps you. You can subscribe. You can go to bethesimple.com, sign up for email lists and all of that stuff. And yeah, just thank y'all for watching. Alyssa, maybe is there like a website, Respect Life, they need to reach out, especially my people in Paterson, right?
For
Like
sure. InsideTheWalls.com, and Respect Life does fall under Family Life. So go to Family Life, Respect Life. I'm right there.
there you go. Boom. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for
Thank you.
watching. Peace.